Frank Ehrhardt, John R. Wood Properties, Christie's International, and I wanted to update you on the latest in our real estate market here in Southwest Florida. Let's start with inventory. Inventory is moving up again just about everywhere, and so take a look at this first slide. I'll pop up on the screen here. Inventory is up 49% from last year, and our sales are actually down 11%. So yeah, that's not great news for sellers in this market. Buyers, you certainly have a lot more to choose from of available homes. What's happening with prices and days on market? And so if you take a look at this graph here, sales prices are even with last year. Average for all of Lee County and Collier County is $450,000, and the average time on market is 50 days, and that's up from 23 a year ago. So it's taking a lot longer to sell homes, but prices are flat right now. Let's take a look at some of the individual markets. And so Cape Coral, and so here in Cape Coral, sales prices are down only 1%. So I know there's a lot of doom and gloom out there. I follow a couple people on Instagram and TikTok talking about a market crash. I don't see it, and I'll share why here. Inventory, though, is up. It's up 55%. So that is a lot of inventory. We're at about a 10-month supply right now. So we are definitely in a buyer's market. So one of the things that I'm curious as to what's going to happen over the next 30 to 60 days here. Buyers are still really hesitant. They're like, well, we're not going to pay that price. Sellers are like, I'm not selling at any lower than what I've got it at. And so we still have this stalemate that's been going on for probably close to 18 months now. And so I'm very curious what happens over the next 30 to 60 days where sellers who need to go, are they going to drop prices further to get their home sold? Or are they going to say, you know what, we'll put it back on after the election and see what happens then. We don't have to sell right now. And we're not seeing panic sellers out there at this point. So buyers, you have a tough decision. There's a lot to choose from. I think there are deals to be had out there. Things are still selling. It's just at a slower pace. You go over to Fort Myers, and so prices are actually up 3% over the last year. Inventory up 68%. So there's a big jump in inventory. But if you look at this still is not to the extremes that we see each January here. And so, it's out, but it was down so far below. They've got a 9-month supply of inventory in Fort Myers. Again, that is definitely a buyer's market there. Let's take a look at the beaches here. So start with Fort Myers Beach. And this fluctuates quite a bit because there's not as many transactions currently over on Fort Myers Beach or SandCap. And so sales prices in Fort Myers Beach up 23%. Inventory is up 16%. They have a 14-month supply of inventory. Again, a lot of the condos at the south end are still not inhabitable. We'll start seeing more and more of those coming on as 2024 goes through the year here. Same thing. Let's take a look at SandCap. And so SandCap, your sales prices are up 53%. Obviously, there's been a transaction or two that's kind of skewed that number up. Inventory is up 47%, and currently there is a 22-month supply of inventory over on SandCap. And so again, but if you look back to previous years, inventory has been considerably higher than it is right now. And so so that's where we're at. And so interest rates, we're up 6.8, 7%. So Fed is meeting with Congress this week. I don't think there's going to be any surprises there. I don't think that we're going to see any rate drops probably until late spring, early summer. People that were talking 4, 5, or 6 rate drops this year, I don't think that's going to happen. I think we might see maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 if we're lucky. So again, that's where we're at. Any questions on the market, please feel free to reach out to me. Give me a call. Frank Ehrhardt, John R. Wood Properties, Christie's International, and look forward to talking with you soon.